You are a creative and you have a voice. So let's amplify that power and make a difference. Hi, my name is Jessie and I am an advocate of creating with intent. I help you realize the dreams you've pushed and placed in your back pocket. I'm a small town girl navigating her life in the big city, an artist who started her career with a palette from the dollar store and now helping creatives amplify the voice of their art through brand strategy and public speaking. I love me a good story. Personal growth, faith, creativity, and entrepreneurship are the topics that we discuss here, recorded with intimate conversations from the best in the creative community. Think of this as your brunch date with your girlfriends mixed with art and business. So come as you are, drink up your tea or coffee, grab your notes, and let's get you started in this journey. This is Thought Bubble with Jay, the podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is Jessie of Thought Bubble with Jay, and you're in for a treat because I have invited someone whom I think most of you are familiar with. You've been seeing her works on the gram, and not just that, I think she is a household name in the watercolor community. As an artist, when I was starting out, I hid my profile because I was so scared that anyone will find out that I have an art account, and I was so insecure. So it's the imposter syndrome kicking in. But then friends around me started saying and supporting and cheering me on to show up and show my art to the world. And if someone will be inspired by it, someone will learn from it, even if it's just one person, then that's good. And so I started sharing. And it's interesting because in my recent conversations, there are a lot of artists are out there who are thinking of growing their account. It's more than just a number, but it's more of reaching other people so that they can showcase their art and teach someone one way or another. Our next guest is known for her tutorials and easy to follow techniques, specifically using watercolor. And it's a privilege to have her on the show, and I'm glad that she said yes. So without further ado, please welcome to the show, Jovy Merryl. Hey, Jovy, good
Hi.
morning.
Good morning. First, I love your voice. It's so calming.
Thank you. People are saying that I have a different physical voice than my hosting voice, and I think they called it the voice split personality. I'm not really sure, but that's the
I
feedback.
love it. Whatever it is, I love it. It's calming.
Thank you. And you look lovely, as I said offline.
Oh, thank
I love the red pop of color. So thank you.
Thank you for having me here.
I'm excited because and I normally say this, that I'm always starstruck with someone that I've been following for the past several years, and you are one of them. So, Jovy, can you take us through the journey of how everything started? I know I've read in some of your posts in one of your Friday introduction that you started in 2016. And interestingly as well is that you're part of the hospitality business, which is sort of like on both ends of the spectrum. So can you take us through that journey of how your creative path started?
First, yes, it started way back 2016 with my first thing to know about me. I'm a little bit of a mixture of being a workaholic. So way back 2016, I have my own business, which is a restaurant in the Philippines. At the same time and year, I also have a full-time job here in Singapore. I am managing a cafe here in Singapore. So if you can already imagine how stressful it is being a business owner of a restaurant and a manager of another cafe. So there's a lot of stress and pressure. Anyway, so this cafe is known for its coffee, latte art. So as a manager, I have to learn how to do it. And then my colleagues were all, I would say impressed. I hope it doesn't sound bragging, but they were impressed on how much art I can do in a very short period of time. So they thought I have an artistic side in me that is not brought up because for so many years I've known myself as a business person. I love my job and I love interacting with people. I love the service line and I love food. So
Okay.
So, so to cut things short, these colleagues of mine thought that I should try calligraphy, and then they bought me some materials.
Oh, sweet.
When they thought I did well with calligraphy, they thought I can do painting. And
Mm,
so and they gave me watercolor materials. And
mm,
rightfully so, I am so hooked with watercolor. And that's where it started for me.
mm.
As it is like yours, I use a different name in my Instagram when I just started,
Okay.
because I thought I thought I am documenting my own journey, and I
Yeah.
thought that's just for me,
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
because it gives me a piece of sanity that I cannot find in my own business and I cannot find in my full-time job. So
mm-mm.
for a very long period of time, I just kept it with me. I didn't even announce to my friends that I'm doing it, because this is
Yeah.
just a breather from a hectic life that I am living.
Mm-mm.
And little did I know that a lot of people really wanted to be connected with people like me that
Mm-mm.
do this. So that's where it started. Actually, that's how it all began.
It's interesting to learn that it was because people recognize that you have this
Yes,
artistic side. And if you think about it, it's sort of like a mini happy accident that suddenly they found out that, okay, she's really good at this. And
it is.
they
And
show their support by buying you materials, which is
they
really
are
nice.
great. And one of my colleagues even customized a notebook for me so that I can use that to learn my calligraphy. And
Mm-mm,
this other colleague,
mm-mm,
he just gave me all not really gave me, but lend me some stuff that he thinks I can use for watercolor painting. It's amazing how I was pushed to that corner where I thought
mm-mm.
I could never be in there. I never saw myself as an artistic person since the beginning of time.
Yeah, that's actually my follow-up question, because when you created those that art that people recognize that you're good at, I was thinking, have you always been creative as a kid, or is it something that you just found out in 2016 because they saw it and recognized it?
I just found out 2016. I mean, a lot of my friends would say I'm not surprised, but I am surprised. Growing up, I've never thought of myself as an artistic person. I'm an
Mm-mm,
athlete.
mm-mm.
So I'm a business person and an
Yeah,
athlete. So I never thought of myself as a creative person. Although I do those paper dolls
yeah,
with those dresses and colors and
yep.
cutting and cross
Mm,
stitches. But I thought that was just part of my curriculum at school.
mm-mm,
And I didn't really thought of it as being artistic. Nobody told me so.
mm-mm,
I was just not aware. But
mm-mm.
looking back, yes, I think I was a creative person since young. It's
Since
just
young.
that I was not aware of it.
It's a common theme from the interviews that I've conducted with artists, that they started doing just like what you did, that you're exposed to it, but it was more of like it's part of either a curriculum, and it's normal, but it
Yeah.
was not heavily encouraged, and the environment wasn't really that conducive to really support creativity.
Yes. In Philippines we are brought up to,
Yeah,
arts doesn't sell. art
exactly.
doesn't art doesn't give us money, and
Mm-mm.
we're not blaming our parents, but
Yeah.
it is probably the same way they see
Mm-mm.
what is going on in our lives there, and maybe we became very industrialized.
That's true. That's true.
So
So that was 2016, Jovi.
yes.
So I know, and I sort of stalked
Mm.
your photos on the gram, and as a follower of yours, I've been seeing that you've been doing workshops. So how did it how did it all start for you? Uh, did it start with calligraphy workshop, or was it watercolor workshop? Can you tell us the
I,
story? Yeah.
so I enjoy the calligraphy very much. It's maybe because all my elementary lives, my
Mhm.
teacher would ask me to write on the board. so
Oh, the
so
secretary.
I have a practice with a lot of cursive,
Mm-mm.
and but then I didn't enjoy it as much as watercolor. So I spent a lot of time doing watercolor. And again, my friends encouraged me that I think it's time to teach. It's time for you to teach other
Of
people.
friends like that.
I
Yes.
wouldn't even thought about it if it's not brought up to me. Like
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
these people from the same community that I am in are very encouraging. So um they wanted me to teach them. So
Mm-mm.
they are my
Yes.
trial class.
Mm-mm.
But then they respected my craft as much as, even though that's a trial class, they paid for it.
Oh wow. Really supportive
Yes,
friends.
they
Very,
are
very
very
supportive.
supportive, and they are here in Singapore. I think you know
Mhm.
some of them, Portia, Mitch, Neat.
It's the hungry
Yes,
creatives.
yes,
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 and
yes, they are.
they are very supportive when I was starting out.
Mm-mm.
So they gave me a feedback after the trial class, and they said I'm good in teaching. So I continued teaching other people because personally wise, it feels so good
Mhm. Mhm.
when you see that people, this creative person took up watercolor and gave it a little bit more time because you thought them correct. I wouldn't say correctly, but every people have a very personalized learning curve.
Mhm. That's true.
So when you nudge in the right direction, I would say, based on the person, and they took it up and they
Mm-mm.
enjoyed it very much, that's a very fulfilling feeling.
I would agree, Jovi, because I did some workshop before, and it feels really good, and it's a rewarding feeling to see people doing it, taking the time to do it, and then practicing after the workshop. Because
Mm,
others, after the workshop, okay, I'm done, and that's it, just a
mm.
3 hour workshop. But for others who would really continue their journey with watercolor or weather calligraphy, that is a plus, and
Yes, it
you can see them
is.
grow. So the workshop started in 2016 as well, or did you take some time?
No, I took a lot of time
Mm-mm,
before I started
mm-mm.
teaching watercolor. I couldn't teach people when you don't know that much. So
Okay.
it started as a charity. Well,
Wow.
aside from the trial class that
Mm-mm,
I had with my friends, the launch really is with a charity
mm.
that I had. It's called Inspire Hope.
Okay,
So we held that workshop in my own restaurant in the Philippines for a cost.
that's great. I think that for me is something that is very relevant, especially now. A lot of kids right now, of course, they rely heavily on devices, but
Yeah.
it's very rare that they really take the time to play with their hands, use their hands to create something.
Mm-hmm.
And what you
Yes.
did, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, the organization I was supporting. I mean
Mhm.
the charity. It's for kids.
Wow. Mhm.
So it's for pediatric cancer patients. It is
Oh.
currently inactive now because we don't have so much volunteers in the
Mhm.
Philippines, but we will reactivate it again with a
Mhm.
common goal.
Yeah.
So it's for the kids, and I have to agree with you. It gives them so much joy to try and play with colors and with their
Yeah.
hands,
Yeah.
because sometimes we are too busy um trying to not make them bored,
Mhm.
so we will give them like
Digit
digital
stuff, yeah,
yeah.
devices and tools, yeah. I hope that will continue on, inspire hope, right? And especially
Yes, we're
for
planning
kids,
to.
yeah, for kids with cancer. I think it means a lot to be able to create something and enjoy the process of doing it, and then have someone really taking the time and making time to teach them.
Mm.
So
Mm-mm.
so from 20s, let's say 2017-ish. So the journey of teaching watercolor went on since then.
Yes, 2000, I think the peak of my workshop journey was in 2018. I don't think I didn't had so much workshop in 2017. That was a lot of trial and a lot of getting to know myself as an artist year.
Mhm. Year. Okay.
Mm.
Have you tried to venture into other mediums aside from calligraphy and watercolor?
I did
What
with
kind
very
of medium?
little success. I tried I tried gouache, I tried
Huh?
acrylic, but they wouldn't move.
I'm afraid you would say that. I think when you spend so much time with water and paint,
Yeah.
it kind of feels
I was like,
so no water acrylic no
I was like,
it's hard.
you're one lazy paint. You don't
You
move.
know, I love that they don't move. It's
They
frustrating
just
they don't
don't.
move.
They just don't.
They just don't.
So
So
it's safe to say I don't enjoy them. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry to all the acrylic artists and gouache artists enthusiasts out there, but Jovi is a watercolorist by heart, guys. Okay,
I think
so
I would
yeah,
love to learn more about it in the near future, but for now, it's just it's watercolor.
what's water? And tricky though. Just a side note: when I interview
Mm.
people and ask them which is the easiest medium to start with, if you want to kickstart your creative journey, I have different answers from different people. Some
Mhm.
would say it's watercolor, and some would say no, it's very tricky. I would prefer acrylic. For you, watercolor, of course, because you're very
Yes.
much into watercolor. But it is tricky. It is tricky though, and
Yeah.
it's hard to make mistakes. Not very
There
forgiving.
there's this time that you'll just get frustrated
Yeah.
with with however is this going, why you're not executing the way it is in my head, why is my hand and my brain is so
Not coordinated.
uncoordinated. Because
That's
there
true.
will come a time that
Mhm.
your mind is ready to learn a lot of things, and you are recognizing this skills and
Mm-mm.
techniques with your brain and with your mind, but the thing is your hand lacks the experience to actually execute it.
Yeah.
So that's where it gets tricky.
Mm-mm.
When you understand how it is with your brain, you know how to execute it with your brain, but your actual hands and muscle lacks the experience to
Experience.
actually execute it. That's why they can be uncoordinated at times, and that's where you get frustrated because I'm pretty much sure I can do this. Why it's not turning it?
Been
That
there.
kind of time.
Been there
Yeah.
and had that feeling.
Yes.
Frustrating. Why is it not doing what I want it to do?
Yeah.
Okay. So
That was
Joe,
2017 for me.
2017. I think mine is 2018, 2019. It's like, I want it to be a rose, but why does it look like a cabbage?
Yes, right.
It's like, a cabbage. I had it pictured in my head. It's supposed to be pink or pink rose. It does look like a
Well,
pink
mine is a
cabbage.
spoiled cabbage.
Okay. Joby, thanks for that. That was really fun to discuss.
Mhm,
I have another question because in one of the
mhm,
interviews, one of the artists mentioned that as an artist and being an artist, and now that we are on social media, being
mhm.
a content creator are two different things.
Yeah, it is.
So you grew your account tremendously, and I personally have witnessed it, being your follower. Um, so how did you go about in doing that? Most of the answers that I would get would be you just have to show up daily and consistently.
That's true.
That's true. But
Mm.
what
But
other things? Yeah, go ahead.
um, I think what specifically worked for me, it's
Mm-mm.
well, that's true. Showing up, it's like I posted twice a day, sometimes three
Mm.
times a day
Mhm.
for 7 days a week, and there's a lot of videos, there's a lot of tutorial beginner
Yeah.
stuff,
Mhm.
and I have a lot of collaboration with brands.
Ah.
So this what worked for me way back 2018. I'm not very sure if it works right now, but what worked for me way back 2018 was I had a lot of collaboration with brands.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
So name it, M. Graham, Princeton, Prima, White Knights, all those brands that we dominating the watercolor world right now.
Mm-mm.
So how I started the collaboration with them, this is the tip. I get their emails and I send a proposal. I don't believe in waiting. That's
Oh, that's a very interesting take. Yeah, go on.
I for a lot of people that know me, I'm not the one that waits for an opportunity. I
Mm-mm,
go up to the opportunity and ask them by myself.
mm-mm,
So I will email a very detailed proposal to a brand. This is what I want to do with you as my partner, and this is how I'm going to do it.
mm-mm,
This is the timeline.
mm-mm.
This is what I expect from you as a partner, and this is what you can expect from me as a host of say example giveaway or
Ah.
way back 2018 I do a lot of those challenge giveaway, if you remember. So
Yeah.
I will give them a very detailed plan with timeline and what they can expect from me and I need what should I expect from them as well.
Mm-mm.
And also with all this I will also give my statistics, like this is where my audience came from. I would be very detailed in this proposal because
Mm-mm.
if I'm not going to be detailed, um it's a waste of time. Like
Right.
if I say, hi, can we do a collaboration? One of the company, I would not name them, they told me that they receive a lot of proposal like this, but
Mm-mm.
what stand out from my proposal is the detailed
Ah.
information
Mm-mm.
so that they can picture out
Mm-mm.
where are they heading and what are they going to expect from this event that I would want to run with them.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So that's what I did and it worked. I think I had like from, if I'm not mistaken, forgive me for my memory doesn't serve me that far well. Um from 10,000 I had like 50,000
Mm-mm.
followers for like few months and then immediately go up as 100,000. By 2019 I had 180,000. But now I've been very inactive for 2019, so it's just 145 something.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
145,000.
So I like the part because I talked with other artists as well, and brand collaboration was one of the topics that I discussed
Mm.
with Yen and Tin because they are also
Mm.
brand ambassadors for another brand. And but this take of emailing them and being very detailed, I think it's a really a good point, Jovi, that you made
Mm.
is about showing them what the value that you're offering instead of just being
Yes.
the generic, I want to partner and collaborate with you.
Yes, you just don't, for me, I just don't say, I have 50,000 followers and I want to do
Mm-hmm.
a collaboration
Yeah.
with you. If I'm receiving that email, so, so what? I mean, no offense, but so what?
So
Right?
what? Right,
So
right, yeah.
I need more details, and that is why I thought of giving them more details.
Mm-mm. So it's the value that you're offering more beyond the physical, the vanity metrics that you have as an artist. When
Mm.
because you're right, I think a lot of people will have a lot of following. I would say if
Yes.
you just based on numbers, right? But what is the content, or what is the what's the value of the content that they're putting out there?
Mm. And what's your goal?
Mm, mm,
For a lot of brands, they are, aside from all the detailed information, they are very much, sorry, they're very much into what is the aim, what is the goal of
the goal.
this collaboration.
Mm-mm,
I'm very straightforward about the goal. I
mm-mm,
want to strengthen the community.
Okay.
I want the consumer to know more about the brand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And a brand and an artist doesn't have to be a totally separated thing. We are all creating.
Mm-mm.
So the goal of those events is just to bring us closer.
I love
And
that.
and they loved it. I loved it.
Mm-mm.
They loved it. So that's why a lot of brands would want to collaborate. If you have that goal, I think it's pretty much straightforward. We want to be closer to each other.
Mm-mm. That's a good point. Normally, when you talk
Mm.
about brands and an artist, those two are entirely different things. You have to look at the brand. Okay, this is just a watercolor brand or a brush pen brand or
Mm.
calligraphy brand. But then an artist, this person is just a watercolorist or an acrylic
Mm.
artist or a
Mm.
calligraphy artist, and totally disconnect, right? Of course, if it's a brand, they would want someone who uses the same tools and all that. But
Yeah.
beyond that, it can. You're absolutely right. They can be merged together with just one,
Mm.
aiming for the same goal.
Yes.
And I love when you shared about community, strengthening
Mm.
community, and encouraging others to come together through
Mm.
arts. So, looking back, Jovi, with everything that you've done from 2016 up until this point, what has been the biggest milestone so far for Acroll Studio or
Mm.
Jovi as an artist?
I think it started all the blessings are enjoying. I wouldn't say they're all organic. I have to say nothing comes organic.
Mm-mm.
I mean, friendship can be organic kind of thing, and
Yeah.
all those deeper relationships in a community that we're building
Yeah.
with this journey. But success, I believe in. I don't believe in pure luck based success. You have to really work hard, hard, harder. You have to really work harder for
Harder.
that.
Mm-mm.
There came a point when I think I was on my peak on 2018 when I have so much followings and I have so much messages in my inbox. It's just
Mm.
a very, very busy Instagram account. But it had me thinking that at a certain point of time, you have to think: Are you a content creator or an artist? So that's my that's the point of time that I had to stop
Mm-mm.
and think this all through. So I did. I was very inactive. So of course I miss the communication. I miss getting in touch with people because my engagement right now isn't really the best
Mm-mm.
compared to last time. I would just say that I'm very much happier right now
Okay.
because I've allowed myself to grow
Mm-mm.
and not be, how do you call it? And not be a slave of numbers.
Numbers. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much sure that all of your listener already know about this. But then if we really step back and think of it, at the end of the day, if the artist is happy with the things that she or he is doing, it can reflect with our artwork and other people will
Good.
perceive it. So that with that in mind, I had a lot of opportunities knocking at my door. So after 2019, when I had to step back,
Mm-hmm.
I found myself a much more mature artist. I've grown.
Mm-mm.
So since I was back, I had an offer. I have a book offer. I have an opportunity to work with other brands. I became an ambassador of White Knights,
Mm-mm.
one of the first certified silver brush educator in Asia.
Mm-mm.
And that's not because of my numbers anymore. And that makes me very happy because the moment that it became about you as an artist, the more fulfilling it becomes.
I love how this interview is going, Jovi, because you just nailed a very good point about growing your art. And
Mm-hmm.
what you highlighted there is it's not really the numbers, but it's you as an artist and what it is that you really want to put out there. What is the
Mm-hmm.
goal? And when you become when you became true to who you really are as an artist and grew to the artist that you really want to become,
Mm-hmm.
when you people became more attuned to you, and like what you said, brought you a lot of opportunities being an ambassador and then now a book offer, which brings me to another question which I'm really excited to talk about is the book, The Beginner's Guide
Yes.
to Watercolor. I was like, oh my,
Mm-hmm.
it's about time that someone like you has been teaching and showcasing your art to do
Thank
a
you.
book. So can you tell us more about the beginner's guide to watercolor? I've seen great reviews, by the way. So
Thank you. Thank
congratulations.
you. Thank you so much. So this book is about, well, everything. What I mean say is everything I wish I knew when I was just a beginner.
Mhm.
So all those things that, like, how do you hold a brush, and how much pressure should I put in a brush? How much water should I put in a pigment?
Mhm.
And how wet should my paper should be, right?
Yeah,
All those questions I've answered in my book while teaching 25
I saw 25.
projects.
Yeah.
Yes, so there are florals and there are landscape. So there are techniques as you learn along the way. So the techniques gets a little bit more intermediate level,
Mhm.
but then the book ensures that there is a learning progress with each and every project there is.
That's good. I've seen the 25. I browsed through it. I was like, wow. And I saw
Thank you.
The Phuket scene specifically, and I was like, wow, this is nostalgic because I went there in 2015, and that
It's lovely.
is lovely. And that exact your painting is like, why? I think I had a picture of that boat, and Joey painted it like it's a good reference. Yeah. So this is available in all the leading bookstores, I believe. I
Yes,
saw
yes, yes,
Amazon,
yes, it
Barnes and
is.
Nobles. So
Mm,
the links are all available in your bio, right? And
yes, it is.
it's I saw that it's also available in paperback and in Kindle.
Yes.
Okay. So I will include that. Don't worry, guys. I will include all the details as well in the description box. But all
Thank
the
you.
information that you need about Jovi's book, you can find it in her bio, which I'm sure you are following. So you better check out. When you click, there is a link there. So you can definitely
Mm.
check that out. So I'm sure some of you are interested to know someone like a seasoned artist like Jovi, what are the materials that she used? And the specific things as I myself is pretty interested to learn about. So top of mind question, Jovi. This is gonna be quick,
Uh-huh.
but let me
Okay.
just fire it away. So favorite
Okay.
brush. Favorite
Silver
brush.
brush.
Okay. Favorite palette.
Never palette.
Never palette.
White nights.
White Knights. Okay, medium.
Yeah.
I think I know what the answer
Mhm.
is. Oh, okay. I think I know what the answer is for the medium, which is
Yeah.
probably watercolor. Favorite time of the day to paint?
Morning.
Like how early?
9 a.m.
Wow, early riser.
As soon as I have my coffee.
And a coffee person. Okay, a lot of you
Yes.
guys are a coffee person. Favorite subject to paint?
Nature.
Nature. I saw some photos that you posted on your IG
Mm.
story. It's like, wow, that's pretty. Okay, reference photo or out of your imagination?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Mm.
This one, loose or realism?
Lust.
Loose. Okay. Ooh. If you can be an artist for a day, who would it
Mm.
be?
Drew.
Drew. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So her.
She is super talented and she is my first mentor. She
Mm,
knows a lot of medium and she
yeah.
enjoys them all,
Mhm.
whether digital or traditional. I just love her so much. She is very down to earth and she's just an amazing woman, amazing person, and amazing artist.
Miss Drew. Yeah, I think yeah, I know her. I was like thinking,
You know her.
oh yeah, I definitely know
I'm
her.
very sure you know
Yeah.
her.
Okay. Thank you, Jovi. Okay. So we're nearing the end of the podcast, and I normally ask
Mhm,
this question as sort of like
mhm,
to come to get everything in full circle for our listeners. So if you
mhm.
can give three golden nuggets to leave our listeners or for any artist who's starting out, what would they be?
To really enjoy the process. I mean, I'm not sure I could give three, but that's the main thing. I would have to like summarize first,
Mm-mm.
if you don't mind.
Sure, sure.
If
Go ahead.
they want to grow their followers, I've given some tips like brand proposals, collaborating with brands,
Mm-mm.
show up, like be consistent in the post, and also interact well with other members of the community.
Mm-mm.
But at the end of the day, what will make you happy, stand out, and just fulfilled with creating is just creating it for your own first.
Mm-mm.
So the moment that you realize that you wanted to grow for yourself, that you wanted your art to be part of a household or a part of let's say a building want to be displayed or part of a product, the reason why you want those is because you poured your heart into creating that artwork, and that that will give you so much satisfaction and so much reasons to enjoy what you're doing. At the end of the day, people will see if you're doing it for for the
Yeah,
numbers or for doing it for something deeper, as for like for yourself.
for yourself. Wow, those are really,
Mm,
I wouldn't say three specifically, but those
yeah.
are a lot of nuggets, Jovi, that I personally have a lot of takeaways from
Mm.
this episode. And again, thank you for
Thank you so
making
much.
time to speak
Mhm.
with us. I know a lot of artists out there are navigating through some of a lot of
It's a rough
questions.
waters
Yeah,
out
yeah,
there.
it is,
No.
and it can you can easily be lost in the sea and crowd
Well,
of
yeah.
people. Yeah,
I've been lost and
yeah,
it feels good to have the courage to step back and really know what's very important.
yeah. I think that is also another golden nugget from you to take the
Mm,
step back instead of pushing yourself to create just for the gram or for the numbers and engagement,
mm.
but staying
Because
true to you as an
the
artist.
opportunity will come
Mm-mm.
when you're ready to embrace that creating as a self-care helps a lot.
Ooh,
Mm.
self care, big one. Thank you so much, Jovi,
Thank
for
you.
everything that you've shared and for being so
Thank
generous.
you.
Congratulations again on the book. And guys,
Thank
if
you.
you haven't gotten that, please do check it out because you will be learning a lot. What you've heard on the pod, all those tips, just a piece of who Jovy Merrill is and us as an artist. So please do check
Thank
her
you.
out. And you will find this episode, I'm sure if you're listening to this one, it's available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and the video will be up on my YouTube channel, Artsy Jessie. So thank you again for tuning in. I'll talk to you again next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, you, pat on your shoulder for finishing this episode, and thank you for giving me the space to burst my own thought bubbles. If you're feeling generous, hop onto Apple Podcasts and drop us a review, or you can share the link of this episode. That would be amazing. Until then, thanks for listening.